think as children, when we were watching our favorite movies, we often had this feeling that we would get when we would enjoy that movie. It sparks a sense of nostalgia. It immerses us in the film.
Just let me move back, man. Get you in. I can't get you in because you're too close. You need to move back a little bit. There we go. There you go. Hello. Hello. There you go. So pretty.
I always wanted to capture that feeling that I got when I was a kid.
Easy. You excited?
And I think most of my favorite movies that I've ever watched, most of them were shot on Anamorphic. So naturally, I was drawn towards the anamorphic look. And this was my attempt to try and recreate those nostalgic feelings that I had as a child when I watched my favorite movies. And I know that it takes more than just a lens to create a cinematic look. It's all about the storytelling and the conditions that create that feeling that immerses you in the film. I think that anamorphic lenses and adapters aren't as frequently available to filmmakers because they are highly expensive pieces of gear. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the 1.3x Anamorphic Adapter by Moment, and at the same time, also want to share with you my obsession with anamorphic. So when Moment released their very first on-camera anamorphic adapter, I was really excited because this brings me closer to that goal of creating that nostalgic feeling that I had as a kid. Just a quick disclaimer, I was sent this anamorphic adapter during the initial production phase for me to test out. So I have a couple of things to say about this anamorphic adapter and if it still holds up in 2024 as far as anamorphic lenses and adapters are concerned. And the first point that I want to talk about is the 1.3x squeeze factor. This was a deliberate decision by Moment to make this a 1.33x anamorphic adapter because they wanted to take advantage of most 16:9 sensors. So cameras like the A7S III, the FX3, all of them are 16:9 sensors. When filming with the anamorphic adapter, it takes full advantage of that 16:9 sensor and then transforms that 16:9 to a 2.35:1 wide aspect ratio. So the Moment 1.3x anamorphic adapter is very easy to use, and it's just by having this one little button on the side. It has this easily adjustable rotation button, which means that you can quickly, after attaching the lens to your take lens, that you can adjust the oval orientation to have that anamorphic flaring horizontal. And that's what I like about it. And the third part of having this anamorphic adapter is the fact that it is compatible with most lenses. So I often pair my anamorphic adapter with this Helios 44-2 because I like the combination of the image that I'm getting. I'm getting the vintage look of this old lens, and when I paired with the anamorphic adapter, I get a little bit more of that widescreen look. So the anamorphic adapter is compatible with most focal lengths, anything from 50mm to 135mm on full frame, and also on Super 35, it's between 35mm and 135mm. On 50mm, I've noticed on some lenses you get a bit of vignetting. So I would advise anything from 55 upward, so anything between 55mm and 85mm, I think is the sweet spot for this particular adapter. So lastly, anamorphic lenses are often very expensive. I think this anamorphic adapter in particular is a little bit on the expensive side, but I think you need to have a little bit of more perspective when thinking about that. You're not comparing this to anamorphic lenses. You're comparing this to the highly expensive route that you would take if you have to get all of the different focal lengths in anamorphic. So for instance, if I have to pair this with a 55mm as well as an 85mm, that means that I get anamorphic at 55 and 85. So I think you guys are getting what I'm trying to say. If you had to purchase a bunch of anamorphic lenses at different focal lengths, that does add up. With this one particular adapter, you can convert most of your lenses that you have to anamorphic, meaning that it kind of saves you that extra cash of having to spend so much money on anamorphic. And I think Moment thought of everything, and this is how they made it more affordable for you to use this anamorphic adapter with most of your lenses. They created these step-down rings at 3 different filter sizes, a 72, a 77, as well as an 82. And this is the easiest way of pairing your anamorphic adapter with most of your lenses. All of them step down to 67 millimeters, which is the rear element of this anamorphic adapter. I think they've also taken into account the aesthetic look of this adapter. So you can see when you do attach a step up or step down ring, the design is even and flushed with the anamorphic adapter. Having spoken about like the stuff that I like about this lens, I have to say this is a very niche product. So if you're not shooting anamorphic, if anamorphic is not your thing, I wouldn't advise you getting this adapter because it is expensive. It is an investment. I think for anybody that does shoot anamorphic and have like a lot of cinema lenses or vintage lenses and want to convert those into anamorphic, I think this is the cheapest route for you. If you are into anamorphic or you have been considering getting this adapter, my advice would be to follow the link in the description, place your order, and be next in line to get this adapter. So my review isn't really much of a technical breakdown. If you want me to go down the route of the build quality, the focus elements, how that works, the setup, the alignment, all of the technical breakdown and stuff, if you want me to go through that, just make a comment down below in the video just to let me know that you would want that. I just wanted to give you a sense of what I like about this adapter, who I think this adapter is for, and if it actually helps me recreate those nostalgic feels that I used to have as a kid when I watched my favorite films, and if this adapter does help me achieve that goal of getting to get my videos to look more cinematic in a sense, if I can tell stories with this adapter. And I think it definitely gets me to that point.